Hello, my name is Mary Lou and I'm a Stampin Up Demonstrator in Australia. I'll be making a tutorial today for this card, Peekaboo card. It looks complicated but it's very simple. So to begin, I will give you the sizes of the card pieces that you need. I'll just put it over here to the side. Okay, for this you need one panel that is 5 3/4 by 4 1/8. For the center panel, we need 8 1/4 by 4 1/8. And also for the front, we need 8 1/4 and 4 1/8. All right, so we need to score these pieces. I'll get my scoreboard. Now I put these so just for us to make sure that we don't get confused, and maybe it's easier for me to explain. On the 5 1/4 by 4 1/8, we're gonna score on the side here at 1/4 inch. So 1/4 inch. So that's that piece. Then for the front panel, the front panel, we're gonna score at 2 3/4. And for the center panel, we're gonna fold it in half or score in half. This is 4 1/8, which is half of 8 1/4. Okay, so this one gets folded in half. Now let me put the scoreboard away. So with the bone folder, we varnish that. Same with this one. And the same with the back panel. Just this little small piece over here. Okay, all right, the next step is we're going to create this hold here. For this hold, you can use a die, but what I did use is I used a 2.5 punch. But if you don't have the punch, you can use a die, or you can make any hold that you like. So we take that off, and we're going to make a hole right here. So I just eyeball it. So there we go. So we done that hole. Now we're going to do a hole in this fold piece. What I do to do that, I put this on top of this piece, line it up, and then I get a pencil. Let me get a pencil. No pencil. And then just very lightly, I put a little mark so I know what to punch. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah. Okay. So we line this up again. Make sure it's lined up properly. And I punch. So now I got this. Now I gotta do that again. So again, I line it up because it's too thick. I'm using, actually, I forgot to tell you, I'm using the the thick cardstock, thick white cardstock. Line it up really good. Okay. So now I have done, we can keep this for another project. So now I have created those holes like this, which is this that you see here. Okay. Now, for what I do now is this is gonna be the back panel. So I'm going to stamp the lady. So now that I have done that and that, I get this and I put it, line it up over here, just next to where the score line is, because this is gonna be folded in here. So I just put the edge to the score line, and I put another mark in there. And now I know that this is where I had to do my stamping. It's just a guide for me to do my stamping. Okay, so this is what we're going to do, the lady. So I get my stamp and my ink, going to stamp it right there. Okay, so I got the lady now. Now what I do is I make sure that you rub the pencil mark off before you begin adding color, because if you don't and you start adding your color on top of your pencil, you won't be able to erase it later. Okay, so that's what I done. Now the next step of what I did is I'm going to color her, color it in, and I use the light pumpkin pie. So I didn't spend a lot of time coloring it in. Very simple coloring. Love the Stampin' Up blender pens. It's very smooth and easy. Okay. Then I use lavender, which is Highland Heather. I use the light to put a little bit of color. As you can see, I didn't spend a lot of time coloring in. And then I use the light granny apple green, the brush tip. I use the dark soft swipe for the hair. And I use the Copic pen, the skin tone for the arms. Okay, and that's all I did for the lady. Now I want to create some of the sky blue plus some of the clouds. To do the clouds, I have used, actually I should tell you, I use this stamp set, the Grace Garden. I also use the Beautiful Moment for the lady. I use the Waterfront for the clouds, and I use that piece over there. And from the sentiment, I got it from the Silhouette Sing, Go Confident in the Direction of Your Dreams. So these are the stamps that I use. So now to create the cloud, I use the Balmy Blue ink. And I just super simple. That's how I created the clouds. And then with the sponge or these brushes, makeup brushes, I'm just gonna add a little bit of blue, just very soft, just to add a bit of color. Okay, so that is all you need to do for the back. So we're gonna keep this aside till later. Now we're gonna be working on which one should we do? Maybe the middle one. We're gonna do this middle, which is this part over here that is gonna come. This is open in the middle here. So we're gonna create some more of the clouds and the sky. So I'm gonna add a little bit of color around. So remember, this is the center. So you'll be working on this side of this card. So I'm adding a little bit of blue sky. Just a bit of blue. Not too much, just a bit. Okay, so we done that. Oh no, now we're gonna do the clouds. Let's do the cloud. To do the clouds, There's the lady, and this is gonna go like this. So I need to put a little bit of the cloud here so it matches, stamp off a bit, and it matches here, so it's part of that here. And I'm gonna put some paper because I don't want to put anything on this side. And that's it. So that's my clouds and my sky. So it's matching the bottom of this, the top. And now I'm going to put a little bit of green so we can create the base of this. So for that I use all olive. So I get my green brush for that. And I just add a little bit of green on the base. Okay. So that this piece now is ready to add all these other bits and pieces that we done. This one, the cat, all these other pieces. Now, one of them is on top and the other one is on the bottom. So I'm gonna stamp this one here. So let's do some stamping. So I'm going to add one here. So, and then we color it in. And then I need to have quite a bit of stamping. So we need to have an extra one that we're gonna put in here. So I'm gonna stamp that one. So you need one of those. We need one of those, and we need 3 of those, but I already prepared a couple later, so I'm just gonna stamp the one. We need these little ones. We need 2 of those. Okay, then we need the fan, like half a fence. We need 3. No, 2. We need 2. One there, one there. Two of those. And we need the big guide for the front. Big guide for the front. Okay. And then we need, what else do we need? We need the little cat. So we stamp the cat. And at the front, we need the little bird. Cute little bird. So we stamp the bird. And that's all the stamping. Now, let me put all this away so we have a bit of room here. And I'm going to show you quickly how I did the coloring because it's super easy to do. For the gate, I use the dark and the light crumb cake. So very easily, you just color all the front panels of the guide just very quickly like that. I mean, you can take more time when you do it at home, but so my video is not so long. I'll try to do it as quick as I can, not to bore you with the coloring. Then you'll use the dark, and for the dark I use a fine tip, and I do the back panels of the guide just like that. So you can spend more time, like I said, and also on the top and on the bottom here to create a little bit of darkness. Okay, then I get the green, what is it? Granny apple green, the light granny apple green, and I just put a little bit on the base of the board here, just to give the illusion that it's grass on the gate. And I will do the same thing in these two, exactly in the same method that I did here. To paint these flowers, okay, let's do a purple one. Oh, let me see. Yeah, we do a purple one. So what I do is I use the highlight header, and I got the light and the dark. And what I did is very simply, you just go around like this and you color all those flowers. Just the flowers only. Yep, and here. And then with the dark one, you just do the center. So it gives a dimension. As you can see, it's super quick. All right, and then I get my green, my light apple green, and I do the leaves. Bit on the stems here, little dots. It gives the illusion that there are leaves in there. Yep, and then over here, I'll just color the base. And for this one, again, just very quickly color the leaves and the bottom. And let's do pink. For the pink ones, I use, what did I use? This is called Flirty Flamingo. So I use the light Flirty Flamingo first for the flowers. Just like that. Like I said, you can spend more time if you want to. And then just on the very tip, you just add a little bit of the dark Flirty Flamingo. In the centers, I add Daffodil Delight. And of course, I forgot these flowers. And the dark one, just a couple of little dots here and there, just to give it the illusion. And I may add a little bit of the darker green on the base. Just a little bit of a flick, 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 flick. And I'll show you a closer so you can see. Forgot this leaf here. How nice it looks when you add a little bit of green here and there. So it's very easy to do. Now for the cat, here, take this, I use light and dark gray. So for the cat, I just color in the whole cat in gray. Light gray. And then I'll use the dark one. Actually, this is called, yeah, the smoky slide. And I just add a bit of dark on here, that ear, the little tummy, and right there, just to give him a 3D look. For the little bird, I use Daffodil Delight on the tummy and just a little bit on the head. And I use the light Seaside Sprite for the top of the bird. And I blend it in together. And I'll give you a closer so you can see what it looks like. Yeah, that's it. You can see it good there. And for this little one, the same. A little bit of green on the base. Just like that. Super easy. And then I'm going to do one purple highlight header. One light highlight header. And one Flirty Flamingo, and I'm using the dark. And that's it, and that's how I did all this coloring, and then I will show you how to put it together. Okay, so I'm going now for this also with this stem set. Where is it? With this stem set, you get the stem set and you also have the die. So I'm going to be using this die to cut all my pieces, and then I'll be back.